Grilled octopus. Octopus is one of the most intelligent animals on Earth. It has 3 hearts, 9 brains, and blue blood. It can open jars, recognize human faces, and solve puzzles. It also happens to be delicious when grilled correctly, which requires either very fast cooking at extremely high heat or very slow cooking for over an hour, because anything in between produces rubber. Mediterranean fishermen traditionally tenderized octopus by throwing it against rocks 40 times before cooking. Modern restaurants use a pressure cooker. The result is identical. A creature intelligent enough to potentially feel offended by being eaten requires more preparation effort than almost any other protein. Every chef who has cooked octopus has made the rubbery version at least once. Most of them have made it more than once. Steamed razor clams. Razor clams are named for their resemblance to a straight razor, and they are among the fastest burrowing animals on the planet, capable of digging into wet sand at a rate that outpaces most attempts to catch them by hand. Pacific Coast Native Americans harvested razor clams for thousands of years and considered them one of the most important food sources available. The clam digs by extending its foot into the sand, inflating it to create an anchor, then contracting its shell to pull itself downward. A clam digs faster than a human can dig with their hands. This is why commercial harvesting requires specialized equipment. A shellfish that actively escapes its predators at high speed becomes a luxury restaurant item once it stops running. King crab legs. Alaskan king crab legs are the most theatrical seafood served in American restaurants. A single leg can reach over a meter in length and contain more meat than the entire body of most other crab species. The Alaskan king crab fishery is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. The Discovery Channel television series Deadliest Catch, which follows crab fishing vessels in the Bering Sea, ran for over 20 seasons and introduced millions of Americans to the conditions under which their king crab is harvested. Restaurant demand for king crab increased measurably after the show premiered. Americans discovered that their seafood was caught in life-threatening conditions and responded by ordering more of it. Fresh oysters. Oysters are the only food that is considered more prestigious when eaten raw and alive than when cooked. Every other protein is improved by heat. Oysters are diminished by it, in the opinion of everyone who considers themselves serious about them. A single oyster filters up to 50 gallons of water per day, making oyster beds one of the most effective natural water purification systems on Earth. New York Harbor once contained oyster beds so extensive that they filtered the entire harbor's water volume every few days. Overharvesting destroyed them by the early 20th century. Restoration projects have been attempting to rebuild them for decades. The oyster that cleaned New York Harbor for centuries was eaten into extinction by the city it was cleaning. Grilled tiger prawns. Tiger prawns are the largest commercially available prawns in the world, capable of reaching 36 centimeters in length. They are native to the Indo-Pacific and became a global luxury seafood item after aquaculture made large-scale farming possible in the 1970s. The expansion of tiger prawn farming across Southeast Asia destroyed significant areas of mangrove forest, one of the most ecologically valuable coastal ecosystems on Earth. Environmental campaigns against tiger prawn farming in the 1990s and 2000s led to certification standards that most major retailers now require from their suppliers. A prawn large enough to be grilled whole like a small lobster became the centerpiece of a global environmental debate. The prawn is still on the menu. The mangrove debate continues. Garlic mussels. Mussels are the most sustainable seafood available at any price point. They require no feed, no fresh water, and no land to produce. They filter phytoplankton from seawater and actually improve water quality as they grow. Marine biologists describe mussel farming as one of the few forms of food production that has a net positive environmental impact. Despite all of this, mussels remain one of the least ordered seafood items at American restaurants because they look intimidating and many people do not know how to eat them. Europeans, particularly the French, Belgians, and Dutch, consume mussels in volumes that American seafood consumption statistics cannot approach. Belgium alone eats enough mussels annually to make it one of the defining national foods of a country most Americans cannot locate on a map. Seared scallops. A properly seared scallop requires a dry surface, a screaming hot pan, and the discipline to not move it for 90 seconds. Most home cooks move it too early. The scallop sticks, tears, and produces a gray, steamed result instead of the golden caramelized crust that makes a seared scallop worth ordering at a restaurant. The difference between a restaurant scallop and a home scallop is almost entirely about pan temperature and patience. Professional cooks heat their pans for 3 to 5 minutes before adding the scallop. Most home cooks heat theirs for 30 seconds. The entire quality gap can be explained by 2 minutes of additional waiting. A luxury seafood item that costs significantly more than chicken can be ruined by impatience alone. Fried calamari. Fried calamari became the default appetizer at American Italian restaurants in the 1980s when restaurant owners discovered that squid, one of the cheapest seafood products available, could be battered and fried into something that customers would pay appetizer prices for. The profit margin on fried calamari is among the highest of any restaurant appetizer. Squid costs a fraction of shrimp or scallops and produces a comparable fried result. American consumption of calamari increased by over 300% between 1980 and 2000 as Italian restaurants proliferated nationally. A cheap fishing bycatch that Mediterranean fishermen had eaten for centuries became a premium restaurant appetizer in America because an Italian restaurant owner in the 1970s decided to put it on the menu.